and welcome to the show. We are here today on Forza Horizon 5 for some more multiplayer racing. For this session, it is a B-Class Japanese car event. However, all of the races are going to be off-road. I have gone for a Subaru Brat. I figure this is a pretty damn good shout in terms of it is small, it is light, it is all-wheel drive, it has some ground clearance. Should be quite strong for this. I have swapped the engine out of it. It's got a 2-litre flat-4 turbo, so it's got an Impreza engine in it, basically. I think it's the Impreza one. It's got just under 300 horsepower. I'm expecting this to be a relatively strong choice. I am not the only one, though, that has gone for a Brat. There are a couple of other ones around the place. An RX-7 is a brave choice. A Prelude. So, I like the Prelude. I have a B-Class one, actually, very quick. However, they are probably front-wheel drive. Now, you are allowed to drivetrain swap the vehicles. Everything here, well, the majority are going to be four-wheel drive. The two Preludes are going to be front-wheel drive. The RX-7 might be swapped. The Toyota might be swapped. I don't know. I guess we will find out fairly quickly. But yeah, when it's an all off-roady event, yeah, probably. I love front-wheel drive cars in Forza. I have regularly ran some very quick ones. However, for this event, I personally would not be going front-wheel drive. I think you're going to struggle to make it work, but you never know. You never know. The Prelude is a pretty damn good shout in B-Class as far as cars go, so if anything can make it, that would be one of them, and Nolly is certainly quick with them. We will see how it goes. Just through here, for example, I have the traction in the Brat. We've got off-road race tyres. What is the downside with the Brat? Well, it hasn't got the biggest of tyres. That can sometimes be a little bit of a concern. Yeah, it hasn't got crazy wide tyres, so there may be some cars that have a little bit more grip, ultimate grip, than we do, but we're so light, I think that's going to counter it. Sorry, my brain was trying to figure out the right way of phrasing it. Top speed might also be a concern for this. As I said, we've got just shy of 300 horsepower, which is not bad, but there are certainly going to be vehicles with more, and yeah, there's likely to be some faster cars. Now, this first track, that doesn't really matter. This first track, top speed is completely irrelevant, but some of the circuits that we may well end up going to, that may become more of a problem for us. I can't remember why I have the weird front bumper on this. I think I was trying to get the PI. I think I had parts on it I wanted, and to stay there I had to drop PI a little bit. That's why I have a weird front bumper. Got like the bull bar one. I can't actually remember now. It wasn't that long ago I built this car, and I have immediately forgotten. So one of the big advantages I do get, for example, up this hill, I mean, the Prelude is hanging on well, because the front-wheel drive will just not quite have the same traction that we do coming up that hill. Although, because we're in B-Class, I mean, I don't know how much power the Prelude has, I'm going to get around the 250, 260 horsepower mark. It's not too bad. The front tyres will probably deal with that. When you start dealing with 300, 350, then it starts getting a little bit more challenging, shall we say. But, yeah, it should be able to do it. I mean, it's clicking on very well so far. I mean, we've kind of just stayed in this status quo. We've got the Subaru Brat leading the Prelude, leading an Impreza. And I don't quite know what is in fourth. It looks like it is the 2000 GT. So, the top four, only two are all-wheel drive. That is quite impressive. Well, unless the Toyota swapped. I don't know. We didn't see the launch, so I don't know if it is or not. I mean, Prelude actually got off the line quite well. And these tyres are good. They're on the surface they want to be on. They do dig in well. And it helps here a little bit that the kind of start line is downhill. You'll get away a smidge. Well, I say it's downhill, it's partially downhill. If you're towards the front, it's downhill at least. Actually, no, I think the whole thing's downhill. Maybe the back row's uphill slightly. But yeah, so it kind of flatters the front-wheel drive, or the non-all-wheel drive. A little bit, it just helps you get going. We've had a good lap there and pull. I mean, it's not much. We are just able to pull a margin. I do think this is probably the circuit where the Brat is going to be strongest, though. I think when the tracks start opening up, we might be vulnerable, but we will have to wait and see on that one. Almost made a silly error there from the lead of the race and a part of the circuit where I didn't need to particularly play risks. I don't know, I've had a bit of a weird line through all of that. Felt wrong. Has been quick. That felt all manners of wrong. I don't know whether I was fast or Ollie. Well, no, we were keeping it. I think I got into the 45s at the end there. It felt all over the place at the end of that lap. It was a wonky line. It felt wonky line, but we carried good enough momentum that will be... Oh, I didn't quite get into the 45s. It'll be a victory. They're identical lap times between third and fourth. Oh, the 1000 GT just slipped down a little bit. It's actually pretty close between a lot of vehicles there. It's very close between a lot of vehicles. 46.0, 46.2, 46.4, 46.4, identical, 46.9 back there. So, yeah, it's a solid start. You know, that is the place I hoped the Brat would be fast. That is the place the Brat should have been good at, and it certainly was. Impressed with the prelude. That bodes fearsomely, really, for the Honda going forward. But yeah, it is a victory for my Subaru. We head to the Temple Cross Country Circuit, a track I quite enjoy. I'm not sure it's going to be the best for my Subaru here. We will have to wait and see on this one. I fear we may lack power. I think that is going to be the big concern around this track, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out, really. The prelude might be okay here. There's not too many low speeds. A big advantage all-wheel drive cars get over the preludes, of course, is traction. I'm going to guess that 2000 GT might be all-wheel drive with the way it got off the line. So yeah, big advantage that the all-wheel drive gets, of course, our traction. Now, in the medium and higher speed corners, it's slightly less significant. Really low speed corners, well, yeah, funnily enough, the front-wheel drive, two-wheel drives would struggle compared to the all-wheel drive cars, because we can just put our power down a lot easier and a lot better. However, once the cars are up to speed, the traction becomes a little, and I'm going to say a little bit less of an issue. You know, it can still be a thing, but on the whole, probably not too bad. This circuit, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm liking my vehicle here. It feels pretty good. It handles nicely. It is... gets turned in quite nicely. It gets turned in. I don't know whether Pebble selected the wrong car for the first round. It does happen sometimes, especially if it's between two Subarus. We were around the outside. I hope there wasn't some desync on that one, because I left room. It was brave, I will admit, going around the outside. I figured the worst that's going to happen is I'll get put in the outside wall. I'd rather actually try and pass a car to the outside there than to the inside, because you don't have as big of a risk. Right on the outside of a corner is always dangerous. If you're on the outside of a turn, you always run the risk of the car on the inside understeering into you and clonking you off. Right? It happens. But at that final corner, as you saw there, the risk on the inside is you clonk into a wall, and that wall there is solid. On the outside, you might get squeezed into the wall, you might get pushed, you might get hit, but you're not going to stop dead. So if you're going for a pass at that final corner, I actually prefer trying to go around the outside. I've tried the inside a few times there, and it's gone wrong a few times, kind of disastrously. So yeah, I am happier in many ways to try that wider line, and in the end it worked out. It's such a dangerous final corner. I mean, I do like it. I like this circuit as far as cross-country challenges go. I like this layout. That final corner is deadly. It has caught me out a few times. It'll catch out plenty more, because yeah, it's just so easy to find yourself in trouble. We can be very fast through that first section. Yeah, I don't think much has massive answer to us at this track, which, I mean, I'm surprised. Now, it is quite possible they are fighting each other a lot. Now, that can also help me, because we were quick at the first circuit, but it wasn't by astronomical amounts. A track where I would have thought we would have been our strongest. Here, I guess maybe it's not quite as fast as I thought it might be in terms of turns a lap. It is quite twisty in a lot of places, so maybe that is working to our advantage quite nicely here. But yeah, certainly can't complain. Don't hit that wall. I'm trying to go for fastest lap, or faster and faster laps, and that is when you do something catastrophically stupid, like hit a wall or miss a checkpoint. Oh, okay, can't go. That railing slows us down. Don't try and hit that. Oh, not that I was trying to hit it. Don't accidentally hit it. I mean, I probably guess don't try to hit it either. All would be bad. We're not going to get another chance at a fast lap. So I think it's going to come down to me and probably Pebble for the fastest lap of the race here. They may well be going a little bit quicker. They done well to get themselves back up to second, cut through the pack. But they're hitting the wall slightly less bad than a missed checkpoint. It's still pretty bad. Yeah. So sometimes you're lucky and spin clear. Sometimes you have to grab reverse and then fire it forward again. Either way, none of it's great, but it is perhaps a little better than a missed checkpoint. We are heading through the final corner now. It has been, outside of the first lap, it has been a fairly uneventful race for the Brat. It is mighty fast around here, and there's more speed in that as well. It wasn't a great final lap. So, yeah. we got a second victory in a row, and I'm sat like, oh, I'm a bit disappointed. We could have gone faster than that. I think, yeah, what Pebble got lap time-wise, I think we were very, very, very evenly matched there with the other Brat. The Prelude's on the podium in third ahead of the Toyota, and Evo gets itself up in fifth ahead of another one of the Brats. Yeah, solid start. I'm happy enough with, I say I'm very happy. We've had two for two, one of them with the fastest lap, can't complain. Yeah, there's probably going to be somewhere where the Subaru doesn't work, but so far, so good. We head to the Airfield cross-country circuit for our next race. All the Brats are together, apparently. I mean, it is very much a very fast track here. If we're quick at this circuit as well, I feel like we've covered every base with our vehicle. Now, I don't know whether it's going to be immensely fast here. If there is a top speed issue, this is probably the track where it's going to be most prevalent, but we will have to wait and see on that. We are at least we're off the line well. I mean, I was tempted when I was looking through the vehicles. I was tempted by a Tacoma. I've got one built to B class. I don't know what I used it for, but I do have one built to B class. However, I'm glad I went for this. This seems to be working. I do think we are probably a slight bit more of a handling spec one than anything. You can just see, I mean, the grip we can take through these corners, this is where it makes the really big difference, is we can just carry so much speed. We actually do have good top end. I'm actually very surprised by that. Our kind of mid-range isn't great, but once we do get going, we've got some pretty good pace. We've got a little bit of debris through that section that slowed us down. It's 3 wide up at the front, about to become 4 wide if I get this right. Don't put the Prelude in the forest if we can help it, but we get a good run through the middle. We're a little bit boxed in. There was kind of a Subaru-sized gap, but it just didn't really last very long. Oh, that's a bad line. I didn't know how much the barrels were going to slow down the cars ahead. I was just checked up a little bit. So sometimes you're just not sure what debris is going to do what. We should be flat through there, and we are. There's a Prelude right behind us. Yeah, so we're going to have to be mindful of that. Oh, we're going to take that wide line. We're going to... Where is the Prelude? Prelude all the way on the inside. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to take that wider line. You kind of fasted a slightly different point on the circuit, but it worked well enough for us. Toyota took that barrel out and lost some speed. Prelude is now to the front of the field. Can we do anything about it up here? I'm going to try and duck underneath. Oh, well, I wanted to go underneath the Toyota. The other Honda turned up, which is a little bit unfortunate. Preludes may have a little bit too much pace. So what we're seeing here is kind of what I was talking about before, is that the front-wheel drives aren't really being hindered here because there's not so much in the way of traction zones. for them to have problems with. So the fact that they aren't all-wheel drive doesn't affect them very much at all here. Outside of the launch, there's not much, not many problems for them. We're going to now try and get underneath Ollie, and we may retake second here, and we do. We are back past the very bright pink prelude. Mind that bit of debris there is the one that really seemed to slow us down. Can we go? So we do have a little bit more grip in the corners. I'm not sure whether it's... we are a bit lighter than the Honda, so maybe that is what's helping us. We're going to try and hold a wide line here, hoping for a good exit on that wider line. That was why we went for it. And the Honda was always going to chuck it anyway. Can't do it. Almost made it work. However, yeah, the Honda's just a little bit too quick for me. It's a tiny tap on the brakes through there for the Subaru. We're going to have another go at getting back past the prelude. Mind the debris on the landing, which we are fine about surviving. We are swapping position almost every other corner now with that prelude. Will it try and send it down here? No, not close enough. Oh, Vante's very wide. The leader with a big mistake on the final lap of the race. That is not what they wanted, and we were monstrously quick through there. Ollie's made an error as well through that section. Well, I mean, we were obviously quick. Ollie made perhaps a little error through there. I think Vante may hold on just here. We did everything and got a little bit of a slide into the final corner. We threw everything at the back of the Honda. This was the biggest test for the Brat yet. Just not quite fast enough. I'll take second though. It was a great battle with Ollie. Fantastic battle there. We do get fastest lap of the race. That final lap was an absolute storming lap from us. I got the final corner right. Maybe we could have done something. I think the Honda's just had enough speed to beat us. But yeah, pleasantly surprised with the lap time. I will definitely take that one. Even though we're not going to be able to get a clean sweep of everything. Yeah, the Brats were definitely very fast. We are off to the Baja Scramble for our next race. I think my car will be pretty good here. Like it should be fairly fast around this circuit. There may be a little bit of straight line. It may struggle a little bit down the straight. However, I mean, we saw in the previous one, it's about there or thereabouts with the preludes, and it's a little bit better in the twisty stuff. And while this circuit does have some longer straights, there's also some quite twisty stuff. There's some low-speed stuff, perhaps, to give the Hondas issues. We will have to wait and see. I mean, Ollie's prelude is out in front, as is the Toyota, and we've got Pebbles Brat as well to deal with. So we will have to wait and see what we can do with about that. Mine does not look like it's very good on the landing of the jump. I can't remember what suspension I put this on, but yeah, it is on something in terms of suspension. Basically, I think I put it on off-road. It's one of those things that I think I did, or did I run out of PI? I may have run out of PI. It might be on its standard suspension, which wouldn't be terrible. It wouldn't be the biggest problem in the world, but yeah, maybe that's why it's a little bouncy. That was incredibly aggressive through the banked corners. The banked corners, that will help the Honda. That will give it some grip, shall we say, through there. Can we get to the inside of the Toyota down here? Not quite. I mean, we would have liked to have been able to. The Toyota's going to run very wide on the exit. Not quite going to be able to do that. She knows well, trying to get on the acceleration up there. Very dangerous thing to be doing indeed. Hale is back up to second. We will run it very quickly into turn one, but it's not quite going to be enough. Now, this is what Ollie wants to see behind. The more we are sort of scrappy here, where both me and Pebble have issues on the landing on that jump, we get chucked around something terrible through there. The Toyota is back past. I am hoping we can do something here. It's going to be almost 3 wide on the exit. I could get the power down well enough. Then we're going to try duck underneath through the next part. It is now 3 wide, heading towards the next bank corner. We all try and jump across. I mean, if I was on the inside, I would have gone, you can get through the inside without going through the water. That probably would have been slightly safer way to go. That could have ended up in a real big crash. We did survive it all, I guess. So, you know, at the end of the day, it could have been worse. We are on the outside of the Toyota, and we will try and make this work. Now, I'm expecting there to be a Toyota up the inside. I kind of left space for in case it did have a go, and it's there. Who will win the acceleration battle to the final corner? It will be us. Now, we've got a couple of laps to try and catch the Honda. Whether that be, well, okay, well, I'm not going to need a couple, as Ollie made a mistake in turn 1. That's made our lives considerably easier. The other Prelude is coming to join. Yeah, again, both me and Pebble have a really bad time on the landing. The Toyota is better there than us, and it's given up Ollie a little bit of a reprieve through that one. We're taking a very shallow line through there. It kind of works. I mean, we've got the grip. We've got so much turning in this vehicle. We've got the grip to kind of get away with that. I've got so much turning, I actually don't want to turn in. I'm turning in too soon up here. That's a much better line through there. Try and get a bit more of a slingshot on the exit. Have we pulled clear of the battle behind? Didn't really see. It's quite an intense race, this one, and I don't have a huge amount of time to be looking back. Right. So Ollie is going to always struggle a little bit here. This is probably one of the corners where the Prelude is going to struggle the most. However, that wide line is not a terrible shout. It means that the Prelude can get on the power a little bit sooner and potentially get that little bit more speed on the exit. It's just the Honda is trying to play to its strengths, which is probably going to be straight line speed over me and Pebble, and landings of the jumps. Both of our cars hate that. Now, maybe the Brat's almost too light, possibly, although there does seem to be like a dark art of getting cars in Forza to land jumps properly, and I don't know what it is. If anything, Pebble's had a bit of a bad start to this lap. We are piling the pressure on for second, although I've got that wrong. Pebble's got that one wrong as well. Unfortunately, this is not really an overtaking opportunity here, because it's going to be flat in both of our cars. We are trying to get underneath, can't do it. I think this is going to go the way of Ollie here, unless there is a big mistake towards the end of the lap. I can't see there being much that we can do. I don't think Pebble's running aero. I think Pebble's... Oh, there is a slight differences in our build. That is for sure. And, yeah, we've got good speed around that hairpin, but we are not going to be close enough here to do anything about the second place. We're going to have to settle for third in this one. Ollie's done a great job in fending off. There was a little error at turn 1 from the Honda on one lap that almost got it in trouble. Very, very similar lap time in the top 4. Well, they've all been very similar in terms of lap times. I think the Preludes might get it just. And they do. Yeah, the Prelude's slightly faster than both me and Pebble. I'm the faster of the two Brats, but it's immensely close between all of us, really. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you're talking 0.4 of a second covering all 4 cars in terms of lap time. Yeah. Couldn't quite do anything ourselves, but... It was a tense race, that one. It was a good race. It was a very tense race indeed. For our final wet race, we have another cross-country circuit. This one kind of loops its way around. I mean, it looks like a runway in the ancient temples. I'm not quite sure. I guess it would have been like a big road up to one. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know the history of this area. I presume this area is kind of like this. Regardless, we were quite a long way back. Track-wise, I mean, we're going to be quick in a few places. We are going to maybe struggle with the straight line speed, although we're not that far down on the preloads. I think it could be another very close race here. And my Brat is going to be super strong in the square at the end of the lap. So I think, mine and Pebble's vehicle are very, very similar. I think mine is a tiny bit better handling, and theirs is a tiny bit faster at a straight line. So, yeah, it's gonna come down to well, I mean, start is useful. We can get a good start, which we have not done too bad. I mean, Pebble started at the front, which has made their life easier. If it's really, will my handling at this end square be enough to outdo Pebble's straight line speed, potentially? We will get to the inside of Coffee. We have got, well, not as much grip as I was expecting through this section. We're going to move ourselves up to second. Will this track be high enough speed for the preludes? That is a big question here. I don't know whether it will be. This section here is probably not too bad. However, it is the end of the lap where they may come a little bit unstuck. Now, I was watching car ahead bounce around, and that was why I actually went on the brakes a little bit early. It kind of worked. I was slightly worried. We know we're not very good on the bumps. We know this car really struggles on the bumps. Or both of our cars are struggling on the bumps quite a lot. As you see there, that one's even worse than mine, to be honest. And that's saying something. We have got quite a lot of understeer through there. Can we... Okay, we've got a lot of understeer followed by an awful lot of oversteer. I have a horrible feeling when I was passing Coffee, I may have nudged them slightly wide. I didn't think it was a big enough nudge to really do anything, but they've dropped a long way back. If I did, I absolutely did not mean to, and I do apologise. I put them wide of a checkpoint or something. I didn't think there was anything there to get into trouble with, but I might be wrong. We are to the inside. It's such a difficult line to carry speed on through there. With the debris on that inside, it's really sketchy. Tell you what, I don't know what... I mean, I don't think mine is very good on the bumps here, my car, but Pebble's is even worse. I don't quite know how they've got that. I'm going to guess different sort of suspension. Maybe the rally... Maybe I'm glad I've got this on stock suspension. Maybe the rally suspension is even... It looks like their vehicle is softer than mine, but I cannot be sure of that. We are around the final corner, which has got too much grip. And I think it helps we've got better stability over these bumps as well. That is making life a little bit easier for us. The Preludes do not have an answer here. The Preludes do not have an answer for us whatsoever. I'm not sure what car in fourth is. I have forgotten what one that is. Right, is that the 2000 GT? It might be. Oh no, debris. I thought we were going to see, because you can kind of see the big pallet pile, but then you can't see the troughs or whatever the hell they are that hide in the bushes. And it's one of the few bits of debris that resets itself. One of the annoying bits of debris that resets itself all the time. Yeah, okay, so Pebble really cannot take that sort of speed into that corner, which will work for me. Helps at the end of the lap is this very tight section, although I was a little bit wide through all of there. It was a little bit scruffy from me through that section. Well, we were carrying a lot of speed on the way in, and that kind of got us in trouble. Now, don't understeer too wide. We're going to get a little bit of understeer through there. That I can live with. That's fine. It's this next corner we've got to be careful of. It's the debris that's so difficult to spot. So I'm actually taking a slightly wider line. It's a bit too wider a line this time. There's a different bits of debris that have got us in trouble there. That's frustrating. Debris is such a problem here. Right, let's go to the final corner. Now, we know Pebble's vehicle struggles here. Can we fire ours to the inside? I mean, we were kind of shut down a little bit through there. Pebble's going to slide. We're going to fight back through that one. It's going to be a drag race to the line now. The other Brat is closing, but it's not quite going to close enough. Yeah, we got debris to fair bit. It was the 2000 GT that would cross the line in third ahead of the Preludes. Yeah, we had we had problems with debris around there. It was just trying to take different lines to try and avoid the debris at that one corner that gave us grief, which was a bit of a pain. However, the Brats were definitely the way to go. Ours was the better, I think, the better of the two around that circuit. I think a faster track, and Pebble's is quicker. Mine was better on the twistier stuff. The Toyota did well up in third. The Preludes did pretty damn well considering front-wheel drive and everything, but here they just did not quite have the pace to match the Subarus. So I think the Toyota is all-wheel drive, but I'm not completely sure. But there we go. That is going to be that. That is going to be it for this series of races. The Subaru Brat is... I expected it to be pretty good, and I was not wrong. It is pretty damn good for this sort of thing. That, though, is going to be it for this video. If you would like to sign up to take part in the next one of these, you can via our Discord. There'll be a link in the description. Find the Versus Community sign-up section, and you can register to take part in there. That, though, is going to be it for me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.